Everyone is the main character of their own life. Inside the private meeting room of the Tang group, Yafan sat confidently across from my childhood friend. Although the Lu family had already collapsed, he still believed things could be reversed. After all, he still possessed the corruption evidence involving the Tang family. To him, this was his final gamble. And as long as he succeeded, the system would acknowledge him again. His fate would return to normal. The world would once again revolve around him. Meanwhile, my childhood friend calmly sat before him. Elegant, cold, graceful as always. She only agreed to this meeting because I advised her to. After all, I wanted Yafan to completely lose hope with his own eyes. Yafan slowly pushed the files forward. These documents can save the Tang family. His voice carried hidden confidence. He even intentionally lowered his tone slightly, trying to appear mature and reliable. In his mind, this was his moment. The beginning of his comeback. But instead of panic, a chilling coldness flashed through her eyes. Because from her perspective, this entire situation was deeply uncomfortable. Before agreeing to meet him, she had already investigated Yafan thoroughly. Ordinary background. No major resources. No powerful backing. No special status. Nothing. And yet, a nobody like him somehow possessed highly confidential evidence related to the Tang family. How? The more she thought about it, the more unsettling it felt. Meanwhile, Yafan completely misunderstood her silence. Seeing her stare at him seriously, he inwardly became excited. She's interested. As expected. With just a few moves, I can pull her to my side too. At that moment, he had already started imagining using her and the Tang family to suppress me completely. Then he directly revealed his demand. My conditions are simple. In exchange for these files, I want the Tang family's development project. And I hope our relationship can remain stable in the future. The first condition was for the system. The second was aimed at her. But instead of agreeing immediately, she calmly asked, "How exactly do you plan to handle a project of this scale? With your current resources?" Yafan immediately answered confidently. "I'll cooperate with the Lu family. We can manage it together." The moment she heard that, her expression became even colder. The Lu family? At this point, they could barely protect themselves. How could they possibly manage a project tied to the future of the Tang group? To her, Yafan sounded completely insane. After a brief silence, she finally spoke coldly. "No. We won't be making a deal. And besides, this project has already been handed to someone else." Yafan froze instantly. Then, the meeting room door slowly opened. I walked inside calmly. My eyes met his shocked face. I smiled faintly. "I've wanted to meet you properly for a while now." Then I turned toward my childhood friend. "Can you leave us alone for a moment? I'd like to catch up with him." She calmly nodded before standing up and leaving the room. The moment the door closed, Yafan's emotions instantly exploded. "How could you do this to me?" His face twisted with anger. "I brought evidence that could save the entire Tang family. You people are ungrateful." I simply looked at him calmly. Then my childhood friend's voice sounded from outside the room one final time. "The evidence in your hands is already useless. Chi-Yun already gave us everything beforehand. And honestly, how could someone like you possibly investigate this deeply without outside support? For all I know, you might even be working with them." Then her footsteps gradually disappeared. Yafan stood there completely frozen. Meanwhile, I slowly sat down across from him. "You really worked hard." Yafan gritted his teeth. "Why are you targeting me? What did I ever do to you?" His emotions were already becoming unstable. But my expression remained calm. It's not me targeting you. You're the one targeting us. Not only were you eyeing the Chi family, you even tried reaching toward the Tang family. Yafan frowned fiercely. What nonsense are you talking about? I slowly leaned forward. Nonsense. Why don't you ask your precious system? The moment those words left my mouth, Yafan's face instantly lost all color. You know. At that exact moment, the system notifications before his eyes suddenly started collapsing violently. Main opportunity lost. Fate path interrupted. Third opportunity unreachable. Host value decreasing. Warning. Warning. Critical error. The red screens continuously flickered. Yafan's breathing became chaotic. Then, for the first time, the world itself reacted. The moment the system fully exposed itself through repeated interference, the world rules finally noticed it. An invisible suppression descended instantly. The investment system began collapsing violently. I calmly watched everything. Just as I thought. That thing was never a blessing. It was a parasite. A leech. A foreign existence attached to Yafan to slowly consume the origin of this world. And suddenly, everything from the original novel finally made sense. Why the environment kept worsening. Why natural disasters increased. Why the earth itself slowly decayed. In the original story, Yafan appeared like humanity's savior, using his money and influence to solve crisis after crisis. But the truth was, many of those disasters only existed because of the system itself. The so-called chosen protagonist was indirectly destroying the world while pretending to save it. Yafan staggered backward in horror. You're lying. You're lying. His voice became hysterical. I'm the chosen one. I'm the center of this world. System. Don't leave me. But the notifications only continued collapsing. Then finally, silence. The system abandoned him completely. At the same time, the violent rejection from the world rules directly damaged Yafan mentally. I quietly looked at him one final time. Then softly spoke. Pathetic. Yafan raised his trembling head. Why? I stared directly into his eyes. Because you were never special. You were ordinary. Emotional. Greedy. Arrogant. You even had a chance to walk away. But your greed consumed you. After saying that, I turned around and left, leaving behind a completely broken man. 2 years later, Yafan had completely disappeared from the upper world. After suffering the backlash from the system's removal, his mental state gradually collapsed. He relied heavily on medication just to remain stable. And sometimes, when he forgot to take his pills, he would sit alone muttering repeatedly, I'm the main character. I'm the chosen one. Meanwhile, the Lu family completely fell. Without the Qi family's support, everything collapsed almost instantly. And Lu Ruyan finally realized the truth. Qi Yun truly loved her once. Genuinely. But she destroyed that trust with her own hands. Meanwhile, the man she chose, the one who once confidently promised her the future, abandoned her the moment she lost value. After that day, Yafan never contacted her again. Not even once. Now, whenever she occasionally saw news about me, she could only remain silent, watching from afar, regretting forever. But some things, once broken, could never return. As for my cousin, she returned from overseas successfully. Not only did she become one of the Qi family's most important global managers, she completely cut ties with the relatives who previously pressured her into marriage. And now, those same people regretted everything. Meanwhile, The person who remained beside me from beginning to end was my childhood friend. Unlike the others, she never approached me because of benefits. She respected me after seeing my growth, trusted me after understanding my vision. And naturally, over time, I realized I truly loved her. Not obsession, not blind attachment, just genuine love. The day our largest joint project finally succeeded, I proposed to her, and she accepted with a smile. As for my father, one evening, after watching me handle company affairs calmly, he suddenly laughed proudly and said, "You finally became worthy of leading the Chi family." Hearing those words, I genuinely felt happy. Not because I defeated Yefan, not because I became powerful, but because, for the first time since transmigrating, this life finally felt real. The world was no longer being manipulated by that parasitic system. Everyone could finally live their own lives freely. And as I stood beside the woman I loved while looking toward the future, I finally understood something. Everyone in this world was the main character of their own story.